Welcome back, my friends, to TFT Hyperroll with Artark and the beginning of the Stacks Trilogy. Since we are saying goodbye to Hero Augments in Set 9, I figured let me take one of my favorites and do 3 different videos on it to show you 3 different builds with it. Before that, graphic, like, comment, subscribe, helps the algorithm, channel grow, stuff, lives, weekend, noon. With that said, let's get started. Now, it shouldn't be a big mystery what the first augment is going to be. They give hero augments, so we roll, and we actually have 2 really cool choices here. Bigger, better, buckler for Poppy, which gives the 180 armor. We did a video on that before where you could just see him pop backliners, but this is stacks on stacks time, so we're going to go ahead and grab Nasus and then just build around him. Now, at this moment, I hadn't formed a definitive plan yet, just get 3 2-star champions in there so Nasus has a good chance of surviving and we have a good chance of winning. I knew I wanted a Titan's Resolve. It's one of the better items for him, so we just did that. And we're sticking with the same lineup for now, but I picked up some Malphites mainly because it's going to tick Mascot, but I'm also thinking there is a chance we can get into supers, but we can just watch the Kale on Kale violence at the end of this fight. And after we are offered a few more super champions, it's time to pick them up. Didn't want to necessarily put them in yet because I thought I would do better with the 2-star Renekton than a 1-star Gangplank and a 1-star Malphite, since Lee Sin would tick Brawler, but yeah, it didn't quite work out that way. Our little egg hatches gives us some money, and we also get the chance to pick up a loaded die. And since my goal here is gold 3-star Nasus, we go ahead and put it on Nasus in the hopes of getting it straight to gold. Not right there, but at least we're just 1 away now. We started supers a little late, so we're not yet up to the 2-star Gangplank and Malphite, and I'm kind of hoping to get them there before putting them in, but luckily, this team we are able to get through with a mighty thwack at the end. It's time for our second augment, and it's an easy choice. Featherweights will allow Nasus to attack much, much faster. Now we're continuing to look for the gold 3-star Nasus, because that will give us 3% additional power along with the supers. We're also taking out Kale and putting in Aatrox so that he can pick up primary aggro, and then we roll and we get the gold 3-star Nasus. So now, hopefully, Aatrox will pick up aggro, Nasus will be able to just stack away. Unfortunately, we run into a team with a blitz pull, but fortunately, Nasus is tanky enough to withstand it and able to get several good thwacks in, helping us to win this round. So supers and Nasus are a great concept, except that that's only 4 champs, so we're going to need to fill in a little bit more. As you noticed, I brought in Aatrox earlier to absorb some of the frontline aggro. Now I've brought back Riven because she will tick Brawler for Lee Sin and also could help tick Anima Squad for Nasus so he can get more power. I'm currently waiting on a Negatron Cloak so I can get a Bloodthirster onto Nasus, as that will give him a shield that will allow him to stay up longer. He's not getting in quite as many thwacks as I would like at this point. We were able to get the Negatron Cloak so we can create the Bloodthirster and then get some Ornn items. I decide to go with the Obsidian Cleaver so that Nasus is just going to shred and sunder every enemy he ends up hitting. I was tempted to do the Eternal Winter on Aatrox just so that he could slow people down, but at this point, I'd rather have the shred. It's time for the final augment, and while I was hoping for Thrill of the Hunt, I cannot pass up Scoped Weapons, because now I can put Nasus in the 2nd row from the back, and then he will be able to just hit things in the front row, and that will allow him to stack more and more. Unfortunately, I forgot about people having a blitz pull. In this case, it was a rocket-propelled fist that they got, and so Nasus was yanked right out of the back row. But we have a Fiddlesticks just hanging out, gaining souls just in case someone needs to call on him. And Aatrox is going to do his best to finish everyone off, but not quite strong enough. Enter Fiddle. Job done.
And I've now moved a gangplank behind Nasus just in case we run into any more of those nasty little blitz pulls. They'll get a face full of gangplank and Nasus can continue to just stack and stack from a nice distance away so he can continue to gain power. And the NPC gave us an Anima Visage, which we can go ahead and put on Aatrox because, yeah, nothing can help him more than a little additional healing. We have the increased AP with the Rabadon's Death Cap, and then the Gargoyle Stone Plate to keep him nice and tanky. Go ahead, put the blue buff on Misfortune, who has come into the game along with a Giant Slayer. We've now also triggered a little bit of Anima Squad just to give Nasus that extra power, and Misfortune can be a cleanup. And as you can see, this combination is getting rather nasty. Aatrox is able to hold everything down, Misfortune does nice cleanup, but Nasus is really just crushing things. Each stack is making him more and more powerful. And even when facing an actual Animaniacs team, this is just really evil. Their Misfortune fires across our board, but it's not enough to even dent Nasus, who just 2Q stacks them, and we do a quick check on his attack damage, 610. And that ends up leading us into the top 4. And because this build leaves a lot of room, we can bring in an Urgot, and then we can go ahead and pick up a Gold Collector, which essentially creates another Ace, and we're going to go ahead and put it on Fiddle because he is likely to jump when things are low, therefore he can just execute them. And this is our final item choice, pending Urgot dredging up some items. Hand of Justice can go on to Misfortune to give her a little more mana and also make her a little bit more powerful. And if my kid were naming this build, he would probably call it Super Nasus Mish Mosh because we have so many different things going on. Super and the stacks on stacks are the key. Then there's a little bit of Anima Squad, a little bit of Mascots, and a couple of threats thrown in just for good measure. But you're really counting on Nasus to carry, but Duelists can do a ton of damage, as you can see. The key is going to be increasing our overall damage, which means more 3 costs. We also 2-star the Misfortune, but I decide that Fiddle is not really serving us that much, especially against the team we're about to face that has a Blitz pull. So he's going to pull something in. I go ahead and put a second Urgot on the opposite side, so that the Urgot that now has the Collector along with the Duelist emblem will not get pulled. This should give me some maximum power here. Urgot knocks them up, dredges some stuff up, but Misfortune is the one who comes along and weakens the entire team so that Nasus can finish them off, leading the damage charts. Now with that particular threat off the board, I was hoping to get a 2-star Urgot, but could not. Decided to go ahead and bring back in the Fiddlesticks, especially since I couldn't 3-star the Aatrox, which would have been just, well, so much fun. I know they have a Blitz pull. I'm hoping that they pull the Gangplank, but no, it ends up being the Urgot who's able to get an ult off. And in reality, everything is a mess here. Misfortune ult gets them low. Nasus is stacking and killing them off. Aatrox is staying alive, but ultimately Nasus, with a couple of key Qs, finishes it off, and it's GG for everyone. So this is part 1 of the trilogy. Tomorrow is tank stacks. Hope you enjoyed this video and have an absolutely awesome day.